Admiral, we're receiving a full spectrum transmission. It appears to be originating from the fourth planet. Audio and visual. It was a testament to the communication tech's high G training that they were able to get the strained report out through clenched abdominal muscles. Patch it through. Oh my gods. Nesh gasped. The TAC plot was replaced by an image of a ration. Its appearance was vaguely vulpine, but with smooth hairless skin and forward-facing eyes. Sharp, serrated teeth were exposed even when its mouth was closed. Its head sat upon a long, lean bipedal body. Two powerful arms ended three mandibles, each tipped with a thick claw. From the creature's chest, two smaller arms emerged, each ending in six delicate manipulators. It wore a uniform of iridescent purple, with what appeared to be some sort of rank insignia or awards across the breast. Nesh quivered in his acceleration couch. It felt like its eyes were looking directly at him, and age-old instinct screamed at Nesh to do what his people had done when a predator looked at you for millions of years. You run. Nesh glanced over at Admiral Davies, who appeared unfazed. I have to say. The ration spoke in galactic basic. It is convenient when prey comes to us. You have more fight than most, and it seems that you have many systems. We look forward to our new hunting grounds. The broadcast cut off, and the flag bridge was silent for a moment. Admiral Davies. Contacts reported rising from the atmosphere of the gas giant. It's a second ration fleet. Nerya could not believe her eyes. Hundreds more ration ships rose from the surface of the gas giant, moving to cut off their retreat to the edge of the system, where they could jump to safety. The broadcast replayed in her mind those four forward-facing eyes that seemed to look directly at her, paralyzing her with fear. The eyes of a predator. She had dismissed the humans so easily in council, so sure of her success, and now. Her vice admiral was reduced a blubbering wreck, eyes rolling in terror. The rest of the bridge crew were no better, all of their hackle spines fully extended in agitation and fear. From the smell, at least one of them had wet themselves. Around the flashing hooves, ships were dying, each one taking thousands of crew members with them, and now their escape to the jump point was cut off. Throughout the fleet, the transmission from the ration had dissolved all semblance of fleet discipline. Some ships sat still in space, paralyzed by their captain's fear. Others fled the battle in random directions, as ration ships followed them, and picked them apart one by one. Nerya felt the eyes of her bridge crew on her, waiting for her leadership, waiting for her to save them, waiting for an order. Nerya had never felt like this, paralyzed by fear, incapable of thinking clearly. For the first time she could remember, she did not know what to do. Ma'am, incoming transmission from the Dreeden human fleet, audio only. Her comm officer at least had managed to maintain his discipline. It's the human admiral again. She says that she has moved their combined fleet to these coordinates. An icon flashed on the holoscreen, showing the location. She urges you to rendezvous with her fleet, where she can cover or escape. She says if you don't move to do so in the next 5 minutes, you'll be trapped between the ration fleets. Taking a series of deep breaths, Nerya steadied herself. The humans had no chance of actually covering their escape, she knew that. They were doomed. But at least she could direct her fleet with purpose. She could allow the tens of thousands of crew she was responsible for to die as warriors, not cowards. And she knew that sometimes in battle, it was more important to make a bad decision than none at all. All ships, follow our heading. Regroup to sphere formation, damaged ships to the center. Rendezvous with the Dreeden human contingent at these coordinates. Helm. Set a course, max burn. Tactical, set up a battle net with the nearby Bonthan ships to coordinate our fire against their cruisers and destroyers. On the holoscreen, Nerya watched as her fleet's forces hesitated, then began to form into a sphere. First just a few, then more and more of her remaining forces. Still, many remained dead in space, or fled, chased by the faster ration ships. They listened this time, Admiral Davies. Jim Wexler, Flag Lieutenant, reported. League fleet is headed our way. Estimated time to intercept is 1 hour. All right, it's time to get to work, Admiral Davies said grimly. Turn us to face the pursuers. Launch all squadrons. I want interceptors and strike fighters to go after their skirmishers. Bombers, go after their cruisers and battleships. Destroyer squadrons 1 and 2, rendezvous with the League fleet. Try to give them some cover. Rochambeau and Lafayette, you're clear to engage when in range. Ambassador Nesh watched as the flag bridge exploded in activity. Enlisted ratings spoke quietly in their headsets as orders were relayed to the fleet and updated. Tactical officers went about the complex work of networking the fleet's point defense systems and gunnery control. His stomach tightened and he was glad he hadn't eaten yet today. He had never been in combat and here it was, only minutes away. He watched as the TAC plot showed loose sphere of League ships approach their location, while 2 destroyer squadrons peeled away to meet them. Not far behind the destroyers were the fighter squadrons from their 2 fleet carriers. Each Columbia-class fleet carrier carried an air wing of 180. And Nesh was amazed by just how quickly all of the fighters and bombers had been launched. Time seemed to move at a crawl as his segmented eyes were fixed on the TAC plot and he found himself grasping the arms of his grav couch with his tentacles. Behind the League fleet, the ration fleet from the gas giant closed with them, joining the first ration fleet that was already engaged. With a sense of dread, he realized that the rations from the gas giant would reach Nerya's beleaguered fleet well before the League ships would be able to make their hyperspace jump. Admiral Nerya is not a bad commander when she doesn't have her head up her ass, Admiral Davies remarked to Nesh. She's managed to reform her command and has created a 3-dimensional formation, which is going to make it harder for the ration to pick apart. It also looks like they're finally putting together some effective fire against those ration cruisers and destroyers. If she manages to hold things together for the next 10 minutes, we might get out of this alive. That's not exactly reassuring, Admiral. I know, Admiral Davies grimaced. It wasn't meant to be. Author's name and the link to original text is in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you want to listen to the subsequent parts of this story.